Hey guys, welcome to this webinar. I can't stand the term webinar, so let's not even call it that. Let's just call it a video production hacking method and how to make a ton of money using your skills. So my name is Michael Stern, and whether you're already have a video production company or you're just starting out, either way, we're going to show you how to take it up multiple levels so that you're pulling in lots of money each month and freeing up your own time to work on your own personal projects, because I have a hunch that a lot of you are creatives and you'll probably want to have that kind of time.
So obviously you're here for a reason. You didn't just randomly click on this. You are either currently a video creator or an aspiring video creator, or maybe you already have a big production company. Either way, I have some pretty cool stuff to share with you, so I think that you'll get a lot out of this. So at the end of this webinar, I'm going to show you the number one thing that's going to boost your success. This one thing is going to enable you to establish your production company, get the big corporate clients, the ones that pay $3,000, $5,000, even $15,000 or more. And lastly, to free up your personal time. You know, we don't want to work. There's a reason you're doing this. You're probably freelance like I am, and you don't want to work a 9 to 5. You want to have the free time to be able to, make your schedule how you want to make it. And that's what this is going to do, is be able to really let you just focus on creating quality stuff, collecting that paycheck, and then having the free time to develop your personal projects. So for this number one thing, you don't need to be a cinematographer. You may be amazing already with your camera. You may have an awesome camera and you shoot polished work, and that's cool. And if you do, that's just a plus. You don't even need to own a camera to do this number one thing. And lastly, you don't even need to know how to edit. How amazing is that? So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's a magic pill, that there's only one thing that's you need to do. To grow your company, whether it's just one person, just yourself, or you have people working with you, there are so many little puzzle pieces that go into running this production company, catching and luring in those big corporate clients, or big clients either way. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you that there's just one thing, because that's crazy. There's so much you can do. So who am I, and why am I qualified to train you or teach you anything, right? My name is Michael D. Stern, and I run 2 video production companies out of New York. I actually got my start in music videos. So I got my first music video from an 80s metal hair band, and I think that was the first time I made $1,000 or something, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I guess that segued into many, many more music videos. I've done over 50 of them now, and I eventually learned that artists and musicians and stuff, they don't have a lot of money. So that's when I started to get into more corporate clients. In 2018, I won an Emmy Award for a show that I was brought on to that had smaller budget at first. They were a local show, and they wanted to raise their production value. So I had actually an agent at the time, which connected me to this small show, and they had a little bit of a budget now finally, and so they brought me on to up the value of the show, and we ended up scoring an Emmy, which was really cool for the episode that I directed. I got a director award from Robert Rodriguez, who did Sin City, and hundreds of other corporate productions and many, many happy clients. So there's my IMDb there in case you want to check it out. But you won't see many credits because I mostly have been in this smaller, video production corporate world, which, to be honest, okay, it's not as glamorous and not as cool as maybe, doing some Hollywood productions or, whatever you want to call them. But there's a lot of money to be made out there, and there's a lot of clients who will give you money for not a lot of work, which is really cool. So I'm going to ask a question, and it's going to sound like salesy, but it's not. It's literally this comes from a factual place. Imagine if you could make $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 a month extra in income to free you up to have your own time and work on your own stuff. So my goal is to get you in that place. I actually don't like webinars, and I had a lot of resistance to doing this. And a friend of mine said, no, dude, you just won an Emmy. You have all this knowledge. You got to share it. You got to do something with this. So after all this back and forth in my head, I decided to share the info and not just hoard all this stuff that I've learned over the years so I can watch others grow. So I have 3 questions for you. And this is what I want to start with. Does your content look like mud? Let's be honest. Is it polished? Does it shine? Is it, does it look high end? Does it look like an Apple commercial? Okay, maybe you don't have the budget to do an Apple commercial, but if your stuff doesn't look like it's coming from a big brand, you're doing something wrong. And that leads me to this. What kind of camera are you using? Are you using the right gear? And the second question, what kind of graphics are you using? Do you have, there's so many of these packs that you can buy online to plug into Premiere or Final Cut X, and you would be amazed at all of a sudden how your production value is lit up and it instantly increases in value, and clients see that and they go, wow, like this is the real deal. Okay, we want to hire this guy or girl. So my next question for you is, does your company website look reputable? Is your site straightforward? Is everything laid out good? Does it look really polished and high end? People want to see expensive. If you don't have a giant budget, fake it till you make it and make it look polished and make it look really high end. Like, shine that thing up, do whatever you can so that all your videos are laid out beautifully. And if you have to go out and you have to build a portfolio first, do that. And honestly, it sounds a little crazy of an idea. It just came to me now. I mean, you can even get stock photos of, royalty-free images and just temporarily juice up your site. Use them as yours. Put them in your thumbnails on the site. Make it look a little bit higher end. It's all about, there's a little bit of smoke and mirrors to this whole thing until you can build up your site and build up your work. But that is that's a huge thing right there. But that's a huge thing for you right there. And that's a great idea to anybody who's starting out or just doesn't, or maybe you've been doing this for a while, but you don't have, your site doesn't look like $1 million, because it should. And then the third thing is, are you willing to say yes? Are you willing to say yes to anything your client says? Because think about it, it's a customer service. It doesn't matter if you're walking into like a McDonald's. You always want to be served. You want everybody to say, of course you can have that. So when clients say, oh, well, can you do this? Can you do that? Yeah, maybe you can upcharge for little things. And I'm actually going to get into more into that at a later time. But, and how to like price things and stuff. But still, right off the bat, when they say, oh, how can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do that? You want to say, yes, of course we can. Doesn't even matter if you can't. Say yes. Say you can do everything and just figure it out after, because you don't want the client to even have any doubt. You want to be able to close them and send them that contract and get their signature and deposit. That's the key thing. So I've had hundreds of happy clients myself, and maybe only one was unsatisfied. And let's just say she was on drugs that was more than marijuana. It was a very strange shoot. And the whole thing was a weird situation, and that was my only unhappy client. I don't know what happened. You'd think the drugs would have made her happier. Who knows? Now, if you're feeling overwhelmed, I totally get it, because a while back I remember thinking, well, how am I going to find a $20,000 client? How am I going to, talk to them? I don't even know how to talk to them. I don't know what to say. What if I say the wrong thing and all that stuff? And it all comes back to limiting beliefs. This is more of a psychological thing, but there's so much psychology involved in this. Because you know what it is? A lot of us, we have creative minds, and we're honest people in general, and we almost feel like charging is like a bad thing. Like we don't want to charge people money for things, and it's scary to take money from people. But the honest truth is that what do you feel like you're worth? Is your talent worth money? Because it is. I assure you, you're probably here because you have a creative mind. Once you make that shift in your mindset, you're going to be able to talk the talk when you even talk to clients, and be able to charge more, and be able to charge what you should be getting. And you won't feel like this guy I think this guy's actually praying to God in the stock photo I used, but you get the idea. You won't feel like a beggar is the idea of this photo, is that you won't feel like you're begging for money. No, you're going to say, this is my fee. This is my fee. This is what I'm worth. This is what I'm going to charge you, because this is what I can do. And here's what I'm going to show you my work on my polished website. And it's going to make sense for them to spend that money. They don't want to hire cheap. They want to feel like they're hiring a quality person to do the work for them. So, looping it back around now. We're coming to the end. I'm not going to make this one of those long, annoying webinars. I'm just going to get to it quick, because I personally can't stand those. So, what is the number one thing that you can do to get at least the $3,000 client? It could be $10,000. It could be $50,000. It could be more. It doesn't, it all depends on your market and your location. But what is the number one thing that you can do to get these high-paying clients? The company profile video. This is the answer to, and I'm going to actually supply a link, or you can just go right to my website and you can look at some of the profile videos I've done. And we were able to do these. Even the budgets on these weren't very high, but we were able to make them look decently polished. And to be honest with you, some of these aren't even that polished. Some of them were just, the budget wasn't there, and we needed to get them done quick for the client. I actually prefer to show shoppable in the left corner here. This is a good example of a company profile video, because there's so many brands and there's so many startups and tech startups and all these different companies that need to show like a very polished, sleek thing. And a lot of you may go, duh, well, yeah, of course. And you know what? There's a lot of people out there who don't have these kinds of videos. But, if you don't have it, go out and make one of these. And you know what? I guarantee when you start sending one of these out to potential clients, they're going to go, wow, this is awesome. This is how I want to show my company. Earlier, I had said that you can do this with no camera and without even knowing how to edit. And the truth is, you can. And so here's the kicker. Here's the whole thing. To me, personally, this is what I think, is if your stuff doesn't look super polished and doesn't look like it's from, a high-end commercial product, this is what you do. Hire a DP. Go out there and find a cinematographer, DP, who's awesome. Put up an ad. You can go on local filmmaking Facebook groups. You can go on freaking Craigslist. They're all over the place. But do your research, find yourself a good one, and make that investment to pay one for a day and come out and shoot all your stuff for a video. And if you don't have a company profile video made, go find a local company who might need one. And you know what? Do it for free, or do it for them really cheap, and make it an investment, and hire a DP who's going to make it look amazing. And then take that footage and either edit it yourself or go find an editor the same way you found a DP. Find an editor for a few $100 to put your video together, and then you're going to have an awesome quality piece of work that you can show. And that one piece of work is going to lead to more clients. I guarantee you there's no way it can't. It's definitely going to happen. So I just wanted to mention before you guys go, I'm offering these free half-hour Skype sessions with me personally, video Skype or audio, whatever you want. And we can talk about your company, whether you already have a video production company or you're already established, but maybe you want to figure out like what your what your hurdles are and where you're stuck on certain things, and how I can help you identify what they are and remove those mental blockages. Use the fire you have, do it now, and get things moving. That's when you're going to see change. So here's a list of some of the things we're going to talk about. Of course, first is just, polishing your videos, making sure that, what you're showing to clients is the best. Outsourcing is pretty big to me. If you're doing everything yourself, you're just going to bog yourself down. So that's obviously not the way to do it. There's a system, especially in production, and you can do a lot of things remotely now. It's pretty amazing. So you'll be able to free up a lot of your time and, not sit there and, do everything. Next is organization. Not just organizing your media for clients, but mainly organizing the way that you are submitting for leads and handling your clients. One of the biggest ones is creating value for your clients. So the biggest mistake is going in and pitching yourself to any corporate client or any local business as just a guy with a camera. That's not what you want to do. There's much better ways to do it that will yield this client becoming more of a retainer client that will pay you monthly, and it's pretty cool. And of course, taxes are huge. A lot of people are just paying double the taxes, and it drives me insane, and they're just not set up right. So that's a big part of it. So we talked a little bit about how to get some corporate clients, but we didn't talk about where are the corporate clients. So I have a couple of lead generation services that I have basically refined and really honed in systematically on how to not spend a lot of money and quickly find these clients on a very, very consistent basis. So that's obviously one of the biggest parts of this. And that's it. So thanks for joining me today. This was really cool to be able to at least share some of this stuff with you. And I hope that you will sign up for one of my Skype sessions. I'm going to provide the link, and I hope to meet you. Take care.